Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are bringing you our promised Netflix review. I thought I said that word wrong for a minute. I got tripped up. We're doing a Netflix review today. We're going over some teen shows, not all the teen shows, but ones that our group and specifically our admin team has watched and has loved and fallen in love with. Eve was going to be on this one with you guys because she really, really loved the show Wednesday, which is one that we're going to talk about, but she couldn't be here. So we're going to hit it hard and represent for Eve. But this is lumped. Now, Wednesday came out in November of 2022, but we're lumping it in the 2023 category because of the buzz around it. It stayed for so long. I myself didn't even watch it until mid-January, end of January, somewhere in there. And it was a bit of a dark horse. It was surprisingly witty. It was intriguing. It was well done. It was massively creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that about, because I mean, obviously we grew up with the Christina Ricci Addams Family version.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that one too. But this one, I didn't know that they could put such a new spin on it and still make me love it the way I did the original.
Yeah. Because I did not, I'll be honest, I didn't really want to watch it. I was just like, I mean, like, It was my daughter, Elena, that was like, bugged me over and over again. You've got to go watch Wednesday. And I'm like, fine. Because I thought it's going to be like too young. It's going to be like, I mean, I love my teen shows, but I was like, there's just no way. I love Jenna Ortega, but I still think of her as like the little girl from Stuck in the Middle. And so like, this is what I'm picturing. But I ended up loving it. I mean, I wouldn't lump it in like one of my favorite shows ever or anything like that, but I enjoyed it. And I'm glad we're getting more seasons. And I mean, I like it. So
I really liked it. Like even I started watching it and I watched maybe the first 2 episodes and I looked at my husband, I was like, you got to watch this. Yeah. And he kind of was like, well, maybe, but it was like nostalgia for him. So he did. And then it was every night. Can we watch Wednesday now? You ready to watch Wednesday?
Yeah. Yeah. We watched it as a family. Like David watched and even like Shelby loved it. Like unless they changed their mind, they talked about this year being Wednesday and Enid for Halloween. So we'll see if they decide to actually do that when it rolls around. But
that will be fun.
Yeah.
And then you guys,
who's going to be who?
Elena would be Wednesday and Shelby wants to be Enid.
And then you and David would be,
I don't know. I told her
Morticia
I told her I don't think I could pull off Morticia. I am willing to be Christina Ricci's character just because.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I love that idea
you too.
Yeah. Because I can get the glasses. Like I could do it, I think.
Yeah.
David could be Tyler.
He could. I don't know. Who should he be? I want to think about that.
That's the only one that has a connection to Christina Ricci's character is Tyler.
That's true.
But in this, it's Wednesday going to boarding school, and like I didn't let my kids watch it because my kids don't like blood and like they don't like the monstery sort of thing. They'll have nightmares. So my kids didn't watch it, but my oldest wanted to, and then I was like, well, there's and I described on the bloody scenes where she's like, nope, I can't, I don't want to watch that. But it is safe for kids. I think it's safe. I don't even think there's much language in there at all.
No, there's not. I mean,
there's no sexual aspects. There's no.
I mean, for reference, people don't know. My kids are 11 and Shelby was 6 at the time. And I mean, there were a couple like when, we had Tyler, in his monster form and things like that Shelby kind of didn't like it. Would want to, kind of close her eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, my oldest is strange in that she not strange, but she definitely takes after her mother in that she likes the horror movies and all that stuff. Like Screams are her favorite movies. So there's nothing scares her, but I think it's family friendly.
It is. I would say that. Yeah. It just, if your kids are young and if they're prone to like nightmares, maybe shield them from some of the parts.
Watch it the rest. Day,
yes,
watch
exactly.
Happy before bed, which is what we always do for Shelby. We put on like My Little Ponies or something before sleep,
But the rest of the story is so fun. And it's so like my favorite scene, and I get the song stuck in my head all the time, is the dance scene where she's doing that the goo goo song. I can't remember the word. Goo goo mash, is that what it is?
Yeah, I can sing it in my head because my kids loved it. Like they did it all the time.
So it's really good. It is family friendly. You can watch it with your kids, with your husband. And my husband and I don't always line up on our tastes, but he loved it and I loved it. So it's really good. Wednesday gets sent off to boarding school, and it's what I liked about this is that in the original Addams Family, it was more of just their life but this was like a mystery, and
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think
there
the
was
mysteries
more.
grab us a little bit more
Yeah.
than it grabs some of the other shows.
Yeah.
It's like with the Cruel Summer franchise, like we're like, who did it? Who is it? Who's this? Who's going to be
Yeah, you
this
want to
guy?
figure it out.
Yes, so bad.
Yeah.
And so it keeps you engaged in every episode. And it's not like some of those kitschy written shows where, oh, this person's obviously it, or if this person's clearly not it because they're the obvious choice. It was it was just so believable.
I remember
Mhm.
watching, and I said to I can't, it's been so long since I watched now. I don't even remember what Christina Ricci's character's name was.
I don't remember her name. I just remember she had red
But
hair.
I kept saying to Elaine, I said, look, if it's her, like, you're gonna have to warn me, because like this is like childhood, this is like an icon for my generation. Like I cannot see this unexpectedly. And she did
Yeah.
not warn me. So I have to admit, I was shocked. I did not see it coming with her. And even with Tyler, like I went back and forth on, is it Tyler? No, it's not Tyler. I love Tyler.
Yeah, I went back and forth on.
I went back and forth. So I still love Tyler, even though it was him. Like I'm cool, like with there's
Mhm.
gonna be some sort of redemption. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he wasn't really doing it on purpose. I don't know. Like,
Well, he played his part really well too. There was that scene in the
Yeah.
police station where after Wednesday figured out it was him,
uh-huh.
and he walked up to her. He asked for a moment alone with her, and he said something. I don't even remember what he said because it's been a while, but he said something really creepy in her ear. I was like, oh my gosh, jeez.
Yeah.
And it made me step back a little bit, but then he switched right back to, my friend is accusing me of this. And it was just, so the acting was really good in all these characters, and you got new characters. You get put into this new world of mythical, and
Yeah.
it's fun. And
Yeah.
I was sad about some of the people who died.
Yeah.
I did not want to. All I can think of is the Game of Thrones lady, like Brianna.
I know Brienne. That's all I keep thinking of.
But what-
Brienne. It's not her name.
What's her character name in Wednesday?
I don't
She's
know.
the principal. But
Okay.
I actually loved her
Yeah.
as the principal.
I
I
was
really,
upset.
really did. And Enid was a super fun character.
Love
I want to be
Enid.
friends with Enid.
Mhm.
And so it was really good. The characters were new and inventive. The only characters we see from the original is obviously the Addams family.
Right.
And even if you can write a show where you can make me cry over a hand,
I was
I think
legit,
that's pretty impressive.
like I was legit sad. Like I didn't think I was gonna be like done.
I
with
cried.
everything. I did
Like,
cry.
full out cried.
And I don't cry, but I was like, no, like, and I mean, Thing's always been kind of that character that's kind of funny, and you kind of,
Yeah,
whatever.
goofy.
He has such a personality for just a hand, but like somehow in this series, they gave him like full on characteristics. Like he was
Yes.
a full character in this show, and I loved him. I would list him in my top 5 characters.
Absolutely.
Probably top 3 if I'm being honest
100%.
with you. Yeah.
I would agree with top 3, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, I think even my husband got really sad when he died. And I remember saying when he looked like he was going to die, I was like, if they kill off Thing, I am
Yeah.
done with this show.
Yeah.
I
all
will
done.
riot.
Yep.
Not
No, I agree.
okay.
I agree.
What were some of your favorite parts about Wednesday?
Oh gosh, because like I said, it's been so long. It
I
feels
know.
like.
But there's got to be moments that stick, right?
I mean, like you said, the dance. I mean, I can't get that out of my head. Now that could be because that was all over TikTok and YouTube as well,
It's true.
over and
she
over
didn't
again.
blink, which was kind of a miraculous thing. She didn't
When
blink the
I
whole thing.
found that out, and I had to go.
Yeah.
I found that out like halfway through watching. Then I started like really paying attention. I'm like, she's really not blinking. Like Jenna Ortega she's going places. Like, I
While
really
she
think
had
she's-
COVID
Oh, she
I didn't
did?
know that part.
during that dance. She
I
had
didn't know
COVID
that. Yes.
Man.
Wow.
because her test results came back after she had filmed that scene.
Superstar.
Wow. Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
between that and then her role in the Scream films, I mean, like I think she's definitely going to be somebody that we're going to see be like
Yes.
a top. Like you've got a funny face. She is the girl. She is the Nev Campbell of the new Scream movies.
Oh, I didn't know they
Yeah.
replaced Nev Campbell. Nev Campbell's the only one I know of in
Well,
the Scream movies.
Nev Campbell has been in all of them until the most recent movie. Spoiler.
I'm never gonna watch those
but-
movies, so it's totally fine.
But so she chose not to be in the most recent movies. But Tara, who is Jenna Ortega's character, her and her sister Sam are the main
I didn't
girls
know
in
that.
4, 5, and 6, I believe.
Oh wow! How did I miss that?
Is it? Are they in 4 as well? No, just 5. And
No,
6.
5.
Just 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5 was the first.
But I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep going because they're so popular. So they'll and their characters are both still alive. So like
Mhm.
I would assume they'll keep going.
That makes sense.
We do need to put a whole spoiler thing in the head of this.
Like Scream spoilers too, right?
Yes. In our Netflix review, there will be Scream spoilers. We apologize.
Jenna Ortega, she's in both. Why, how can we not?
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. Like we talked about, I think some of my favorite moments were we talked about the reveals of like the monsters, because like I said, it kept me guessing the whole time. I am trying to think.
I think some of my favorites were, well, most of my favorites were watching Enid talk with Wednesday, their relationship. And I love the juxtaposition they had when she arrived in the room and Wednesday's side is just completely dark and Enid's is all rainbow. And I just, that one scene where Wednesday is out on her balcony playing her cello. And I loved any scene with the cello because that was, I love that sound. But she's out on the balcony and you can clearly see the stained glass behind her lit up with rainbow and then black. And I just, the imagery in the show is one of my favorite things. They did so well with the tone from a color perspective of filming the series, but also almost making the colors of the characters be an aspect of the character themselves.
Yeah.
I thought they did that. I thought that was really well done. I mean, Tim Burton he's a very creative dude.
Yeah.
And he does weird really, really, really well.
Really well.
Yes.
For sure.
Did you have any complaint, Amanda? What were some of your favorites? I know you didn't finish it all, but what were some of your favorites?
Yeah. And I do plan on finishing it. It's just it's gotten pushed back.
We did not give away the ending.
I think you guys did, but
Well,
I don't. I don't mind spoilers.
Died,
that's not a big thing for me. I already knew that.
Okay.
Like that's something. If you don't watch a show in time, you're going to get spoilers. And that's my own fault. Yeah. No, I don't really know any of my favorite parts. Obviously, the dance I loved, just like everybody else. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know any other. Like it's been since like January since I even saw like half of it. I didn't need to start. I need to start from episode 1.
I was just gonna say you got to start all the way over. Lucky you.
I do. I don't mind. I enjoyed what I watched of it. I don't know why I fell off and quit watching it, but
we probably
because we have 5 million shows to watch.
Yeah.
And it was like when everything started coming back.
Coming back on, yeah.
And it just got kind of pushed.
Yeah, because I think we watched that right before our vacation in January, and it was that week when all of our shows came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emmett watched it all and loved it.
Did he? What about some things you didn't like about it? I only have one thing that I really didn't like about it. I didn't like the man they played, Gomez. I didn't like him as Gomez.
That's my complaint too. And the thing is, I do like him.
Yeah.
But
I think he's a funny actor. He just didn't fit.
It's hard to follow up our guy that played him in the 90s, in my opinion.
I think they try to make him look too much like the guy from the 90s.
I think they did the opposite.
I don't know.
Because the guy from the 90s, the thing that we loved about Gomez was, yes, he was weird and he was creepy, but he was always suave and smooth.
Yes.
And everything about him exuded a confidence and I like the guy who played young Gomez because I feel like he had more of those aspects. But adult Gomez, there was nothing suave or smooth about him in any way.
Well, he's a comedic actor, and so like the comedy was coming, but like we couldn't get the rest of it. And I mean, this might be like, I don't know, this may be an opinion that others don't share, but I was not a fan of Morticia either. The acting
was weird there.
It didn't fit for me, and maybe this, like I said, this may be us being 90s kids.
That's for me. I think
it's
that's
so hard for me to. But I mean, Jenna Ortega was able to fully surpass my expectations of Christina Ricci as Wednesday. So it's not to say it was impossible for anyone to do that, but I do think it was going to take a lot and someone really wonderful, which she was. I mean, like she really she really put it in there and she did it. But
I think she did the most work, and I think that's she
owned that character now. Like I will never be able to think of Wednesday as anyone but her. Like she I mean, and it's kind of sad to say, but I think she took that role on that it is now hers to have.
And I think Christina Ricci kind of helped her and aided her, pushing her that way.
Because you can see a lot of similarities in old Wednesday and new Wednesday in the way
that's part of Jenna Ortega meant to do that. She
Exactly.
studied it.
Yeah.
There's even, I mean, there's pictures
extensively.
of them side by side where they're standing in the exact same pose. And that was intention. Jenna Ortega said she tried to put aspects of Christina Ricci's Wednesday in there.
Mhm.
And I think that with Morticia, like I love Catherine Zeta-Jones. I do. I think she's
do
a good
too.
actress. I think she's beautiful.
Yes.
But the acting just in this, I think she
Well-
was trying so hard to be sort of like dead inside the way Morticia is that it came off as very flat for me. Because I think that the original Morticia, yes, she was dead inside, but she still had, this is going to be a weird analogy, but she still had like color in her cheeks. She was dead, but she had color in her cheeks. You know, she still had some substance to her.
Well, and I would say that was true, like as far as Morticia, because I mean, we say the original, which I know our '90s one is not the original. There's the old black one. Even that one, I remember watching like on Nick at Night when I was a kid too. And even that one, I think the Morticia and Gomez did not meet, like this Morticia and Gomez didn't meet those standards either.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm referring to as the 90 ones, the 90s ones.
No, the ones before that too.
Yeah, like the black and white version, like way back.
Yeah.
Before the 90s.
Like
And
even
I
those
never
are,
saw those.
yeah, I mean, I think they used to play them on Nick at Night when we were kids and stuff. And so I
haven't
saw
seen it
like
since I was a kid, but
I still prefer the '90s, but
I agree.
and I don't think there was like the chemistry between Morticia and
There wasn't
Gomez.
any.
Like we were supposed to believe that they were like
I could
so
not.
in love, like more in love than any couple that you've ever seen. I mean, like they had passion and all of that.
yeah, that was the whole
Yeah,
thing with Morticia and Gomez was that kind of disgusting passion to where like as a kid you're like
cringy,
ew,
gross.
you know, cringy. And there was I haven't seen all of it, but from what I have seen,
There's
I
no
saw
chemistry. None at all. I mean, we had our high school here in town did an Addams Family musical this year. There was more passion in those high school students playing Morticia and Gomez than there was in this Morticia and Gomez. And again, great actors, but I don't think they fit this particular role and they had no chemistry between them.
You know
And
why
maybe
the
they
high
were-
school kids did that?
Because
Because they have 90s
teenagers.
parents.
Oh,
And the 90s parents were like, oh, you're playing in Wednesday?
Good call.
I'm going to need to show you 90s
There you go.
Addams Family.
I don't know. I think it's just one of those. Maybe they wanted big names to tie to those roles because like Catherine Zeta-Jones is
neither
pretty
one of them
big
aren't. I mean,
Well, I
he
mean, when's
certainly
the
isn't
last
that big
time-
anymore.
Neither is
That's
she.
true.
What's the
I
last-
know,
What's
that's true.
honestly, I mean, we all know Catherine Zeta-Jones, but when's the last
That's
time
true.
she was in a huge movie?
a long time ago. No, I know. I agree.
I
So-
don't think I mean, I love Tim Burton, but I don't know who did the casting. I just don't.
I think that's my only complaint though. I mean,
Literally my only complaint.
The only other complaint I have is I wish it wasn't Tyler because I loved Tyler and I didn't want it to be him. So that's it.
But it was good writing that it was Tyler,
good,
though.
but I need that to be fixed for next season because I will never ship her with Xavier. It will never happen.
I kind of liked her with Xavier.
I won't do it. I won't do it. Tyler, look, when I get locked into a ship, that is it. You will never change my mind. And
are they they're doing more, right?
Yeah. There's another season.
Okay.
So it was series casting was done by three different people. So maybe that was kind of the thing. It was Florina Fernandez, Sophie Holland, and John Pepsidera.
Well, I'm sure they had good intentions with what they did.
I mean, look at who they cast in every other aspect of the show.
And it's not like they were terrible. And it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, they were off. No, I had high expectations and that's
exactly it.
That's it.
Yeah. And it's the other thing too, is that even though that's our complaint about the show is those two, it did not for me detract from the grade I would give the show at all.
No.
So let's talk about our overall grade for the show. For those of you who are on the fence of whether or not you want to watch Wednesday, and I can't believe if you haven't seen it yet because it's been out for a while. But I would give it an A+, I think. I think it hooked me, maybe an A, but it hooked me so deeply that I would go to bed thinking about who did it, how it happened, how it transpired. And it was just something so different. And I thought the writing was I like when you get a show that the writing is writing about something similar, something that's been done before, but in a completely new way. I think it takes something special to do it that way. So I would give it an A, I think.
I'm probably going to do a B+, maybe A-, only because I loved it, but I didn't go to bed thinking about it.
Oh, I did.
And so, and plus now that it's been months after I've watched, I'm not still thinking about it. Like other shows that I watch on Netflix that, I mean, we won't even get into, like, you know, some that I've watched here like a month ago that I still think about at night randomly. So like I say Queen Charlotte's what I'm talking about. Like I'm still obsessed. Like Bridgerton, all of that.
Who's not?
I mean,
like that's
I think
A
more about
plus,
Wednesday than I do with that.
But yeah, I'd say B plus to A minus. Like
Okay.
probably more A minus when I was in watching it, and now B plus now because it's faded just a little.
Okay.
But still recommend everyone watching it.
Yeah, I still have moments where I'm like, oh, when is season 2 coming out? Like, it'll just pop in my head. Like, I can't wait for it to come out.
I haven't thought that, and so that's what's making it a B
Yeah.
for me.
I got you.
I'll be excited when it gets here, but I haven't been anticipating it.
All right, so Amanda is going to give us her midterm grade for the show because she has not finished it. What is your midterm grade for Wednesday?
My midterm grade for this is a B, only because I did not finish it, and that says something for me.
Well, that's accurate.
That's because it didn't hook me enough to where I had to like
to watch it all.
That I could go and watch other things. Now I enjoyed what I saw. Yeah. Like I enjoyed it, but it did not hook me.
And I think you might go up to the B plus when you get to the end, because I will admit the last few episodes are really good. So you might bump up just a touch.
And I felt this is the other thing. The other reason I would give it an A is because I felt every emotion while watching the show. I was mad. I was sad. I was happy.
Yeah.
I was laughing quite a bit, usually when Thing was on the scene. And I actually, Uncle Fester surprised me. I actually liked how Fred Armisen played Uncle Fester. I really liked that.
I did too. I did. Yeah.
I actually, when I found out he was going to be Uncle Fester, I'm like, oh, crap. It's going to be weird. But he did so good as Uncle Fester. He lived up to my expectations.
Yeah, he did.
So those are our grades. We're split. We got an A, we got a B plus, and we got a B.
Good grade.
They're all good grades. I would give my kid some allowance from that. So I mean, that's a good grade.
Yeah.
What's next for Wednesday? It was renewed on January 6th, 2023 for a season 2. However, they kind of set it to potentially start filming in September of this year. So it looks like we won't get a season 2 until mid to late November 2024. But
mid to late November.
Mid to late 2024. Did I say November?
November.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you did.
You got listeners, you need to understand that sometimes I'm a complete idiot and I just say things that are in my head that don't make any sense.
I'm like November. Why? Did we have a date?
It's mid to late 2024 is November. What did you say?
I think it's late. Not mid. No.
It's pretty late.
Pretty late.
June to November, all right? Somewhere in that vicinity.
Now, what's going to be really funny is when they come out with it and it's like
November.
Oh, Maureen
I will not let you guys forget that either.
We'll hear about it.
If anything, it better be October if they're going to wait that long.
Halloween.
Make it Halloweeny.
Yes.
Halloweeny.
Halloweeny.
I do want to read this quote about Wednesday where it said, it was from an article and I can post a link if you guys want to read it, but it said Wednesday exceeded all expectations and is proving to be one of the most successful originals on Netflix in its history, not just of 2022. Like it was in the history of Netflix. It was second, ranked only under Stranger Things season 4. Wow. That's it. That was the only thing that had a higher watch history in all of Netflix history was just Stranger Things season 4.
Interesting. Now that's something I'm like, when are we getting the new season, by the way? Like,
exactly. And actually number 3 on Netflix was Dahmer.
No, I never watched that.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
I just screamed in y'all's ears. I'm sorry, but
I want to give you
me, ma'am.
I'm going to give you the numbers on these. All right. Stranger Things was 1.3 billion. Wednesday was 1.2 billion, and Dahmer was 856 million. So
wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, right. And it's only like, and it seems weird to say this, but it's only like a couple hundred. It's only like 100,000 million different between Stranger Things and Wednesday, which seems like an insane amount to say only, but it's only that.
Okay, Jeanette, I just watched Love Island.
Do you like
for
it?
You?
You know where she's going with this.
Did you watch the new episode?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes, I'm caught up with you. So you need to go watch Dahmer.
As you talk about Love Island, I know exactly what's in her head right now.
Well, you should watch Love Island. You like British people. Go do that.
I doubt I would like that show.
Do not let her watch that. She will come out cussing at you.
Sometimes it's okay.
No, there's no way that show would be able to be something I could watch. I've heard your conversations about this
you
show.
watch Bridgerton. I mean,
Yeah, but I was very uncomfortable with a lot of that too.
Okay, Bridgerton, Love Island.
So obviously we are massive fans of the show and we can't wait for season 2. But now we're going to go in pretty much the exact opposite direction, at least in the tone of the show and the appearance.
Yeah.
And this next show, it's bright, it's colorful, it's light, and it's fluffy. And we're talking about XO Kitty, which just came out. Yeah, it was May 18th.
So this was one, and I always hated to admit it, I really was not excited for it because I was like, how are you're gonna mess with To All the Boys I've loved before. I'm like, you're gonna mess with it, and I'm not happy about this. And why is it a show? Why is it not a movie when all the other ones been a movie? Like, it just, something bothered me about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so glad I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I started watching episode 1. I was like, I liked Kitty in To All the Boys I Loved Before. I liked her. I liked her character. I thought she was hilarious and witty and fun, and she's so freaking cute. But I don't know. I really wasn't excited about this. And it was like, it didn't have really any of the other characters that we've already known. So I was like, it's weird. It's weird to me, but they really did pull it off. And I ended up loving it.
I loved it. And I mean, I agree that I was not excited to watch. I mean, I was excited in the sense that, like, To All the Boys I Loved Before are some of my absolute favorite movies that I've ever seen. I've seen them multiple times. Whenever I'm feeling down, those are just my go-to. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, those are the movies that made me fall in love with Noah Centineo. It's the reason I've watched the Fosters and all that other stuff because of him. It sent me into my deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't excited either. But I'm pretty sure I watched XO Kitty in, I think it was a day. If it wasn't a day, it was like a day and a half.
It's like a really quick watch. I mean, they're 30-minute episodes.
And I liked, again, this is another one that very family friendly. My daughter watched this with me as well and like loved it. I mean, there was very, very few parts where they even mentioned anything adult. I mean, probably not as family friendly as, there was more like sexual situations, like not even situations, just like discussions than Wednesday, but it was minor. There was like maybe just a couple mentions and that was it. So in my opinion, another family friendly show for, for the middle school to high school age kids anyways, maybe
I mean, don't let your 4 and 5-year-old watch it. It's not Miss Rachel, but
well, you might be able to watch 4-year-old. Anything older than that, they're going to start to like actually pay attention to what's
true
on. You know what I mean? Like there's that age where you can let them watch whatever because they don't know what's going on.
I do have a synopsis pulled up.
Oh, look at you, fancy.
So I'm gonna be fancy because I was pulling up the characters so I can see faces because I'm horrible about faces and names and stuff. So XO Kitty follows the story of Kitty Song Covey, who we've all fell in love with in To All the Boys, who she moves to South Korea to be closer to her boyfriend and learn more about her mother's past. So I guess her mom, who her mom died when she was in childbirth, or was it when she was young?
When she was young.
Now. Yeah, she was really young.
She was 2 or 3, maybe.
She didn't know, she wasn't old enough to know her mom.
She didn't. Yeah, I knew that. I knew she like never, that was always kind of a big thing in To All the Boys that they've made, that like Kitty never knew her mom. So her sisters would always kind of carry on the traditions and stuff that her mom had done. So she would feel closer to her mom. So I love that they went this aspect that it wasn't, now that I've seen it, I love that the passage that they went to where all the characters we didn't know.
Yeah.
And they separated it. We still saw the phone calls home to like her dad and I'm sitting here trying to think of her.
I can't remember her name.
The mom's name, the stepmom's name.
I don't remember.
Sarah with a T.
Because all I can think of is her character Never Have I Ever, and how
was it
absolutely hated her.
Terry or Teary? Shut up. She's in the Never Have I Ever.
just for a minute, but she's Dez's. Do you remember Well, no, you haven't.
I haven't watched those, but these are the two I kept getting confused about which one I need to watch, and she's in both of them.
She's in season 3. She's just Dez's mom. We don't like her.
I'm looking up what her name is.
Trina,
that's what it is.
Trina.
yes.
Because what was his nickname for? What did he call her?
Oh,
I have no idea.
It was like Trini or something like that. It was
Trini,
it sounded like
probably.
a tree or something.
Trini. Yeah, I think it was Trini.
Now, here's the thing. You guys don't know this, but I was very confused over Never Have I Ever and To All the Boys because we use the acronyms for them when we talk about these shows, and I could not keep them straight. And everyone's like, "You haven't seen this?" I'm like, no, you guys told me not to. And it was, I got them mixed up. They were the different. Yeah. I'm not supposed to watch Never Have I Ever. It's To All the Boys I could have watched.
That one.
So I went to watch it the other night, and I actually saw the first one.
I knew that you did because I thought I remembered you saying that. That's why I was so confused. I was like, "Wait, you've never seen these?" Like,
I had no.
I thought the same thing
until I watched it.
I hope you watched it again because it's definitely worth watching again.
I haven't finished it, but I have started watching the movie again.
And have you watched 2 and 3?
I don't think so. I think I only watched the first one. I think that's why I forgot that I had actually watched it.
Okay, well, you need to watch them all 3. That's like a requirement.
Mm-hmm. My question now is, did we meet Day in those movies?
Yes.
He was played by a different actor, but we did in movie number 3.
I don't like when they do that.
I guess they didn't expect to.
You don't like.
It was like for a minute though, so like I didn't even remember that he was a different actor until I saw it on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I remember
you meet him so like quickly.
Yeah.
That, I didn't even know it was a different character or a different actor.
Like I knew that she met her boyfriend over in Korea, but like I didn't remember his face. So
same.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love Day. I love who ended up playing him.
I really do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the characters. There's it's all her new dorm mates, and some of them are kind of crazy.
Yeah. So we have I love that she got paired with all these guys.
Yes. So good.
I feel like that would have been
she got punished for it. The ones who put her in this dorm with all the dudes.
Exactly.
They did move her to the
lady that was watching her sleep, recording her while she was sleeping. That
was one thing that irritated me. When she was trying to defend herself, she just said her webcam is on all night. No, you need to say that she was filming you because the caption said "Good night, roomie" and left the camera on you. She was recording you sleep for a weird fetish thing.
It was weird.
It was really weird.
Why did she say that?
She should have just gone to the office after that and been like, "Excuse me, she's filming me sleeping. Like, give me another room." But she didn't because she wanted to stay with the boys. She deserved to get punished for that. I'm sorry. But if it was my daughter and I figured out she was rooming with a whole bunch of boys, we would have an issue.
I do have daughters, and I think it would be more okay with her rooming with those 3 guys than the weird girl who's filming her sleeping.
That's
same.
But I don't know that I would want my daughter rooming with her boyfriend.
Yeah, that's where I would have a problem.
Although they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, so
I don't think that matters because
no, it doesn't.
I mean, we're not in the same country, so if something's going to happen, it's going to happen either way.
Yeah, even if you're not roommates, things still happen.
I lived in a college dorm. Like things happen.
I did too, but things never letting her kids
move out.
You were good though. I was not. Okay, I was not.
I'm just glad I didn't go to college until after I became a Christian because that would have been a whole world of pain for me.
You would have had a college experience like me.
No, I think it probably would have been way worse.
I was a Christian. I was to ignore some of those values while I was in college.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about Marine's past on here. Let's not do that.
So let's get into characters.
Yes.
So we have Kitty, who obviously we know.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
She's such a fun actress to watch on anything she does.
Mm-hmm.
I met her on Odd Squad first.
Mm-hmm.
That's her name?
Anna Cathcart. Yeah. Cathcart.
Yeah. I remember her. I mean, obviously I remember her as Kitty, and then she was also Dizzy on the Descendant movies. So
I forgot about that, so you pointed that out to me the other day.
I loved her there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen those, so all I know her as is
you don't have girls.
Yeah.
I would encourage somebody to watch the Descendant movies as adults.
My husband loves those movies.
We do too.
I've seen the first one, and I didn't watch it with the kids, but I see the first one. I liked it.
But we have to remember that Amanda is not a Disney fan.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I don't hate Disney.
That is
I just
Amanda's
not a
biggest
fan.
red flag, in my opinion.
That's
Like,
her
even
ick.
even more
That's
so.
your ick for her.
It's my ick for her. Even more so than her like obsession with like serial killers and all that stuff. I would rank the not liking Disney over that. Like, what is wrong with that?
I'm not obsessed with serial killers. I'm obsessed with
You just got mad at me
calling them
because
out.
you got mad at me because I didn't watch Dahmer. Like, you were shocked. So
Oh no!
Oh, that was a
No.
scary face. I can't wait to see that play back.
I am not mad that from the serial killer aspect. I'm mad because it's Evan Peters and
I do love him.
Oh, that's right.
He is my man, and you need to go and support him and watch.
Okay.
All right. So the other characters we have is her roommates, obviously, and then we meet her new friend, well, frenemy, Yuri. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love how they met too. That was funny.
Yes.
So we have Minho, we have Q,
Love him.
we have Day, who are the roommates,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and then we
Love them
have
all.
Alex, who I really liked Alex
I
too.
love. Let me tell you how much I love.
Oh,
Like-
the teacher.
Okay.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Alex.
yeah, the
Jeez.
teacher.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, everybody knows, like, I have like lots of crushes on Asian men. I just do, like, which is so funny. Like, I mean, if you've ever seen my husband, like, it's like he's not even like the tiniest bit Asian. So, like, he always jokes with me about like why, I don't know, blame Han from the Fast and the Furious series. But like, then we've got, and I love Australian men. So then I met Alex, who is an
Oh.
Asian man from Australia, and I was like, I
Ah.
never even thought about this possibility in my head. And I loved it. There's just
How did
something
I not
so
know this was
cute about
something?
his accent. Like, it threw me. And he was one of my favorite characters in how fun he was. Like, he was just so, to be a professor, he was so light and just.
He was like
Mhm.
Kitty in male form.
Yes. Yes, basically.
Which I was a little disappointed that
I wanted them to be
wasn't-
siblings.
I
kinda did.
know. Also, I didn't because I hated the aspect of her mom like hiding something like that from all of
Yeah.
them. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of made me have like a bad, because they've always put her on this huge like
Mhm.
pedestal of how an amazing person she
Yeah.
was, and then
Agreed.
something like that, I was like, that I don't know if I like that. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of like weirded me
agree.
out.
It
Wait.
was weirding me out too.
And then we also
Anyway.
have, obviously, we have Professor Lee, who is a bit of a downer.
Yeah, a little
Mm.
bit. I didn't like
Gina.
him so much.
You didn't what?
I didn't really like Professor Lee. I mean, by the end I did, but like
I
he just
didn't.
really was bugging me like
I
the
didn't
whole
even like him
time.
at the end.
I didn't like him at all. Like,
I liked him
ow!
better than Gina, but like, I don't know. I didn't like her even a little bit. I have no idea how her and Kitty's mom were friends, because I can only imagine that Kitty's mom was wonderful, considering I love all
know.
her daughters.
Well, here's the thing, though. Kitty's mom was raised in America, where family values are a little. I mean, yes, the Korean social structure still, when you're in America, is still pretty family heavy, but it's looser rules and restrictions. Over there in Korea, much stricter societal norms, much stricter. That's really hard to say together. Much stricter societal norms. Whew. But like, even they said, if anyone is caught underage drinking, that's the end of their family line. And so you can imagine that being pregnant out of wedlock was a huge deal.
That's
especially seeing as where she is now, how she's had to carry. That's why she pushes herself to be so much better and project this perfect image, because she can't ever let anyone know, because that will be the downfall of not just her, but her daughter and her husband and everybody.
Yeah.
Talking about her husband.
I still don't like her though. Her
That
husband is
man-
a piece of work.
I need her to leave him like yesterday.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not like that man.
Mm-mm.
So
Terrible.
like, red flags
Mhm.
like crazy were popping up. I could not stand him.
Even when her daughter said, "I thought Dad would have stayed with you," and she said, "Did you?" I didn't. Oh man,
Mhm.
can you imagine living like that?
Yeah.
It's not even worth all that money.
And I mean, I
No.
guess that's where like you see the difference. I mean, Professor Lee's kind of like stern and like a jerk, but obviously you can see that he actually cares for Gina. Like, you can see there's a difference in like that
But
relationship.
only Gina. He doesn't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
No, but I like those kind of men that are like grumpy until like just the one person brings out the softness. I mean,
But
look
she
at
didn't-
Mino, right? Didn't he say, he was like, I'm friendly to my friends? I like that. He was my favorite character in the series. So
But Lee was she didn't bring out his nice side. He was only nice to her, and even then, not always.
Well, but I have to imagine he was different too when they were younger too, because otherwise I don't see why Kitty's mom would have been friends with these two.
Well, do we know that she was friends with Lee, or was she just friends with Gina?
So.
And she was friends with Lee because Gina was with Lee.
I don't know. I got the impression
because he was a musician, so maybe it was more like I'm dating this musician kind of guy.
I don't know.
I kind of took it as they were like a group of friends.
Yeah,
that's kind of how my takeaway from it.
I kind of got Gina more because of my grandma, but I still think that I liked her more by the end than I did Lee.
Yeah, it's about the same for me, I guess. I mean, I'm tolerating of both of them. I'm hopeful, like if we get more of this, which do we know we're getting more of this one?
No, not yet.
Hopefully we will, and I'm hopeful to see different sides of them, you know, going forward. So,
well, what were some of your favorite things about it?
Everything with Mino. Like, I'm sorry, I was upset. Like, I thought he was so funny, and this was like I said, this was another one I watched with my daughter. From the moment they met in that airport, and he was kind of a jerk. And then she got there and like she saw that he was friends with like, you know, Day and everything. We both like we were like, it's gonna be him. Like it's gonna be an enemies to lovers situation. Like, and we were like here for it. Like,
oh yeah. I did the same thing.
I loved how when Kitty's first reaction to meeting him at the welcome party is, you do speak English.
Oh yeah, because I totally knew like he is faking that. And like I don't know,
he's not even Korean. He is Korean but in nationality he's British.
He's British, yeah. And maybe that's why again too, because we know how I feel about my British men as well. So I automatically
thing for you.
It is. But like there was also a moment, and maybe you have to be like a huge like To All the Boys fans, but there was a couple of times where he called her Covey.
Oh, I know.
Which is what Peter always called like Laura Jean. And I was like, I don't know. I just felt like that was in there on purpose. Like no one else was calling her Covey. And I have like a fetish for like when like a guy calls you by like your last name for whatever reason in books and shows. That always does it for me. I love it. I think it's super cute. My maiden name was not something anyone could ever call me like cutesy. So like it would have never worked.
Mine
so I never
got
to live that. But you know.
What about you, Amanda? What was some of your favorite parts about the show?
I think some of one of my favorite parts of the show was when she stood on that table and tried to win everybody back.
Yeah,
which in an American movie would have totally worked. And then they're like, "Your shoes are on the table that we eat." Like,
yeah.
That part cracked me up.
It was a very High School Musical moment.
And that's true.
If it would have happened in an American like set show, they would have been like all clapping. It would have been a whole other.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of fun too, that it's really tropey in that, like, I mean, if you look back at the movies, like I think they did a good job of like staying in line with how the movies, the tone of it. Because like we said, it's very John Hughesy and like they've got that where I feel like this had its little moments of maybe not John Hughes, but very like
I was gonna say I didn't get a lot of John Hughes.
No, but like the K-drama type tropes of all the different So I still feel like it kind of fell within those same type. I don't know,
I like that they kept bringing that up too. They would talk about how this isn't a K-drama or enough K-drama. Like it was they were poking fun at themselves, which is how you react in normal life too when something's feeling insane.
Oh yeah.
Oh, one of my other favorite lines was just, and it's probably because I love her dad. Okay, I love the guy that plays her dad.
I think this is my favorite one too.
When she finally convinced it, which the whole scene in the beginning where she does her little PowerPoint presentation and she's
so Kitty, so Laura Jean.
Right. I mean, like they're very much like Margot's the only one that's like very different than like them. But then when he's like, did I just send my 16-year-old daughter off to have sex with her boyfriend? And Trina's like, no, I mean, maybe. Like it was so funny because I just thought that, like, I mean, him, I don't know.
It was really funny.
He was like,
I literally have the quote.
Yeah, because he did
because it was my favorite.
He did not.
Did I just let my youngest daughter go to Korea to have sex with her boyfriend?
Yeah, I thought that was just a funny little like, wait a minute. So
now I'm just reading quotes and they're freaking hilarious.
What I liked about it was I like shows that are new but they have like this color palette that catches my eye, and everything about the show was bright and it was colorful. And there's something about that just makes it feel more fresh just because of the brightness and the colors in it. And that's something that was my favorite. That was actually my favorite thing about the show, or show, not movie, was the color palette and the way the costumes were designed. And even though I hated the fashion, because I don't like modern fashion, I think it's all dumb.
Yeah.
But I liked watching them wear these things, because like Yuri, that first episode we see Yuri in, I would never wear that, but I thought it was so fun to watch somebody wear that, because it had aspects of brightness and youthfulness. It was really well done. I think that the way they structured the background and the way they structured the set design and the clothing design, I thought it was really integral and important to the show. And that was actually my favorite part about the show.
I did love that too, because I'm the same way with like Bridgerton. I love the color like scheme that like Bridgerton kind of does. Like it seems almost like
color
fake,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Of how like the colors just, and I'm sure it is fake, a lot of CGI and stuff, but I love that too. So I did notice it with Exo Kitty, where the colors really did pop. And I love a show that does that, because it's just, they're paying attention to other details rather than just the acting and the verbiage. Because that's how I like shows like that, to where there's more. I like to watch the background. If I've watched a show more than once, I'm usually not hardly paying attention to the actors. I'm looking at the backgrounds. I'm looking at the signs on the wall. I get completely, I want to know all that kind of stuff. And Exo Kitty has a lot of that in it, to where if you're like looking in the back, you're like, oh,
there's so much eye candy.
Yeah.
So much. And it was actually, it was filmed in Korea. So I think that's why it's beautiful.
Yeah. That building that Minho rented out, like that's stunning.
Yeah.
The outside of that was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. We all said our favorites. Now I'm trying to think of a complaint.
I got some.
What's your complaint?
You start then, and I'll maybe piggyback off you.
I had fun watching it. I like the actors and I like the characters. I struggled with some of the acting. I thought it was,
I can see that.
I thought a lot of the acting felt very awkward, and but there was enough of the pretty colors and the sets to help me overcome that. And this affected the grade of it for me. I did not like that nobody ended the show happy. I was not pleased with that.
Well, I'm hoping that's because we're getting more.
See, but here's the thing. I've been burned by that before, where someone wrote an ending thinking, okay, if we end it this way, they'll have to renew. And then it wasn't renewed. It was canceled.
But typically
I don't like them to end unhappy.
But this is Netflix. I really think because it was really popular that it will get more because people want it. Like,
maybe
I could be wrong then, but I think it will. As far as like the not being pleased with all the acting, I think I know what you're talking about, but I took it as because they were making it like the type of show they were making, like you said, they were making fun of themselves in places. I just sort of felt like it was just meant to be that kind of kitschy, like drama like that. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was on purpose.
It might have been. It was just hard for me. It was a little bit, not always, but at times it was a little hard for me to like, oh my gosh, really?
I think my only complaint really is like, I wish, and I know that probably maybe they will if they have future seasons. I would have loved to have seen some more, like some of our older characters, like even if it was just for like a tiny moment, like seeing Peter and Large. Like I'm glad that we talked about them, so there was no misunderstanding of whether they were still together or not, because that would have destroyed me to think that they wouldn't be. I thought that would have been fun, and if they do future seasons, I think it would be nice to have a cameo from Noah and
same.
all of them, but we'll see.
And I think the other thing too is that in To All the Boys, like again, I've only seen the first movie, but there's clear definitive signs of how much time has passed in that.
Yeah,
there wasn't in this, except for when she started, and that where it ended was the end of the semester. But I don't know how school works in Korea. I don't know if it's the same as it is in the western part of the world. I don't know. And I don't know, like even Chuseok, I don't know. It said that was like the American Thanksgiving, but was it at the same time as American Thanksgiving? Was it earlier? So a lot of the relationships felt like, how are you this close so fast?
Yeah.
because there wasn't a definitive timestamp of how much time has passed. So it felt like,
Mhm.
are we forcing something here? Should we be giving it more time?
Well, I think the only relationships that were really that quick were like her and Q, which I think
And her and Minho,
yeah, but
her and Yuri.
Her and Mino, I feel like were like that took time. Like I don't think it was ever
Because they didn't like
established
each other
that
at
we're-
first.
I think they didn't even pretend to like each other until
But
like,
he liked her when he had that dream.
Mhm.
That's when he started liking her.
I love that.
And like I did like it. I thought with the ending, the way it ended, where no one was happy, it felt like so it ended with a triangle. What was the and maybe this is more encapsulated. Maybe I need to watch the 3 movies to understand how it has the same structure as the 3 movies. But I kind of felt like what was the
Well, no,
point
'cause
of
it
all these
doesn't-
different relationships? Why do we have her go through all these troubles with all these people to end up with nobody? Like that just I was irritated by that.
See,
I think it's to go on. I mean, like
Oh, I'm sure it is, but there's
the
no
next
guarantee.
show we're going to talk about, I think it's more structured sort of like that. They almost always ended seasons where you didn't know who was going to be with who. There were these love triangles here and there and all this different stuff, and they tried to leave it open-ended for what's going to happen next season.
See, I didn't my complaints. And I hate to say that I have more than one because I did love the show. I did not like that there was like no spark in chemistry between Kitty and Day. Because to me there wasn't. I did
agree.
not and that it frustrated me because it was just so like, well, I just flat out I don't want her with Day anymore.
But was it because
That's what I was
like
gonna say.
it was one of those things that it was better in her head than it was in real life? And when she actually got there to be with him, like, because I think that happens in real life sometimes, like where you've been communicating over the phone and all, writing, doing what you've done, and then you meet in person, you're like, there's actually no like.
And
I
Min
know,
Ho
but-
says that a
chemistry
couple
here.
times where he's like, I
But the
think you
way
guys are
it
better as pen
started,
pals.
Yeah.
right? The way it started, like his relationship with Yuri, I say it with air quotes.
Yeah.
His fake relationship with Yuri, there's no chemistry. His real relationship with Kitty, no chemistry.
True.
Like there's just it just
I would
felt kind of
venture-
flat to me. Like I wanted
I would bet-
the only chemistry we really saw was between Kitty and Minho.
Yeah, because
Which
I would say there was more chemistry, in my opinion, between Day and Yuri, which I know that's not like gonna
the
happen.
way
'cause
we're
that's-
supposed to go.
Yeah, but I felt like there was at least a little spark there. Maybe it's just friendship, whatever. But I felt more of a spark there than I did with him and Kitty.
And I felt also
I don't.
But
see
were we supposed to see it that way though?
Probably because I don't see a spark with Kitty and Yuri either. That one feels forced to me.
I agree.
yeah, I don't like that one either.
But maybe it's I'm so team Mino.
I feel like it's so fake. That fake
Mhm.
friendship. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
My other complaint. Let me step up my soapbox. They put a lot of the Korean culture into To All the Boys I've Loved, right? They want to stay hold of their mom's culture. They talk about it. They celebrate the holidays. But I felt like when she went to Korea, she couldn't speak anything. She didn't know their cultures at all.
She didn't know the holidays.
She didn't know the holidays. She didn't know that they were lactose intolerant. Like that little stuff. I was just going, this doesn't make sense. Like I feel like she would have known more of the Korean culture than they portrayed on the show. And that frustrated me because I wanted her to go there and be like, I am in tune with my culture. But they just made her kind of seem like an idiot. And I didn't like that.
Even in the first movie, she's drinking Korean yogurt, which is, I mean, it's probably specified.
And they make that they say they even make notice of that in Exo Kitty, where she passes by the yogurt cart and she's like, "Ooh, I love."
Yeah,
but that's like,
but you have to assume that because it's such a regular problem there, that it's likely lactose free. So she would have known on some level. If it's Korean yogurt, that's probably most of it is probably lactose free for that reason. So she would have had some indication that you can't.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of that. I mean, she should have known standing on the dang table.
Yeah, she didn't know anything about the culture, really.
It was just so they Americanized her so much. Where I know she probably would have been that dumb, but don't put so much emphasis, dumb as in dumb with the culture.
Yeah.
Don't put so much emphasis on how much they celebrate Korean holidays and culture and go into it.
Even
food and like everything. Don't do that into to all the boys I've loved before. But then when she goes to Korea, it's just like all gone. That
is
that
this
is my
written by the
biggest
same
complaint.
writers who wrote To All the Boys? Same writers wrote
To All
Exo
the
Kitty?
Boys are based on books, though.
I know, but
Exo-
is it the same person who adapted the script? Did they also
That
write
I
Exo
don't
Kitty?
know. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Writing credits is Sophia Alvarez for those. Because at least that would be something if it wasn't written by the same person. Oh yeah, she has nothing to do with the movie. She's not in any of the writing for any of the episodes.
But she should at least watched it.
But she's not in part of it.
No, but she would have watched it. Like the writer would have watched To All the Boys I Loved Before to get to know any of the characters.
There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jenny Han though she's a part of it, and
Oh.
she was a part of the movies. 1, 2, 6, 7.
Yeah, because Jenny Han's the author of
There's-
the books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was the author. Jenny Han was the author.
Mhm.
So she is only listed as inspiration, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different screenwriters for this show.
Jeez,
And
that's
a
an
lot of
issue.
them wrote one
That's
episode.
the problem. That's the problem right there.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't like that.
And now that I know that, you can kind of look back over the 10 episodes and see that there's some different nuances in each episode.
Yeah.
I mean, usually that works fine. I mean, typically there's a team of writers, like on
There's a
Resident,
team,
there was
yeah.
always a team,
Sure.
but to have it be so opposite to what the movies were, because the person who wrote the screenplay for the movies has nothing to do with this show. And so that could explain it, but I think that's a detriment that you should do your research. There's a show that we just finished watching in my other podcast, and they completely changed the character's name. And we thought, oh, did she get remarried? And the person who was on the crew was like, no, we just forgot that was her name before. Like,
What?
and Sanditon,
Whose name was different?
Lady Susan. She was Lady
Oh.
Wister in season 1. Season 3, she was Lady de Clement. She was French.
Oh.
And everyone's like, why
I didn't know.
did
I
she
didn't
get
notice
married?
that.
Did she do this? And Paula Byrne, who is the literary historian on the show, puts it out. She said, nope, we just forgot that was her name.
How do you forget that?
Shouldn't you have like a
Like if a
list?
character's returning, like maybe you need to do major research to be like, okay, did she have a last name? Like,
Yeah.
Was there any kind of social?
Wow.
Like there's.
And I
yeah,
mean,
that's
certainly
not-
you could have just explained it away by saying, well, yeah, she got married to somebody else.
Mhm.
But no, she's like, no, we just forgot. Like, okay.
Whoops.
So, I mean, that does happen when you're adapting a TV series, but you should, especially these. I mean, when did the last Two of the Boys episode come out or movie come out? 2019, 20?
Might have been later than that because
Oh, wait, no, the original Two of the Boys came out in 2019.
yeah, so it's probably like 22. It's been or maybe
21.
21.
2021.
21.
Always
Yeah.
and forever. Yep. So, I mean, that's not even that long. They were probably filming this in 2022. So it's a year apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that hard to do some research there.
Mm.
So I agree with you. Well, let's get into our final grades. What would you guys give this show?
I'd give it an A.
Okay.
I was gonna
I
go
mean-
B plus.
Yeah, I mean maybe A minus, but like I think the A gets bumped up because like I'm so obsessed with like the things that
Australian
led
Asian?
to it.
Mhm.
The what?
The Australian Asian?
No. No, Peter Kavinsky, like loving him leads me to loving this like a lot. Which I mean, but
Okay.
I
Mhm.
even aside from that, like I really enjoyed it. Like I am excited for future seasons
I am too.
or some sort of adaptation. I even joked in my head, I'm like, well, Margot now needs like a movie or a little small like 1-season series. We've done Laura Jean's story, we've done Kitty's. Margot needs one. I don't know. Like I would
And
just love to
Margot's can be
see-
a lot more adult.
that's what I was thinking in my head because she's like in her 20s. Yeah, no,
like her
absolutely.
college. Like I would totally love to go to college in
Well,
Scotland.
she's probably
She
out
at-
of. She was in Scotland. She's probably out of college by now, but she could like still be in Scotland somewhere. Or I don't know. Did they say where she was? Either way,
They didn't in Exo Kitty.
Mm-mm.
because Laura Jean and Peter should be in New York because she went to NYU. So I don't know, but
Okay.
I'd say I'm gonna give it an A.
And
It
you
may
give
drift to an A minus by the time like I lose more time on this, but for right now it's an A.
and yours is what, Amanda?
Mine's a B plus.
Okay, mine's a C. I would give it a solid C.
Rude. Jesus.
The ending made me mad. I didn't like the ending.
My
Maybe-
complaints are what really like threw me into the B
Yeah.
plus. If they would have just not made her look so freaking dumb, it would have been an A for
Mhm.
me.
And actually, as we talked, and I agree with your complaints, that lowered the grade. I was going to give it a C plus, but I agree with your complaints, so lowered it down to
Thanks
a C.
a lot, Amanda.
I'm sorry, it bugged me.
Bugs me now too.
It didn't bug me. I don't know. I think I think a lot of that stuff was on purpose because Kitty is just kind of that person who just thinks like she doesn't think far enough ahead, like to about what her actions are gonna like.
See, I'm watching the
She's
first
always been
movie, and
like-
she seems a
she's-
little more in control of herself in the first movie.
No, she's the I mean, she mailed those letters. She
I
did
know
all
that, but
this
she did that on
stuff.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't think about the consequences of like what would happen. I mean, she mailed a letter to her sister's boyfriend saying that her other sister was in love with him.
Well,
Like-
she was also like 11, 12.
Right, and she's only 16 here. I think she's still naive and
Oh wow,
and
she's only
stupid.
16 here.
Yeah,
She's a junior.
Junior.
yeah. So she's
So-
16.
Oh, I equate that was 17, 18. I was thinking she was a
She's
closer
probably
to being
16,
adult.
17.
No,
here.
she's like 16. I
She's
think he's
16, but I think you turn 17 in your junior year.
not all.
Sometimes.
Not me.
Sometimes.
Not when you have a June birthday. I mean,
Oh,
so-
that's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
this my complaints compiled with Amanda's complaints dropped it down to a C.
Well,
maybe
I still
maybe
loved it.
maybe if there's a C, I didn't say I hated it, but
See,
I-
that's average. And in my house,
is
I
average.
would not pay my kids for those grades. Like,
no, there isn't a reward for that. There's a well,
No.
you can prove yourself to me next time.
what is it? I heard some teachers say that C is average, but nobody wants to be average. Exactly. So that's not something.
Ooh,
to
I
strive
like
for.
that.
I agree. They have to
Yeah.
prove themselves.
use
They
that
have
on
to
my
fix the
kids.
mistakes that they made, and we'll see where it goes from there.
You know, I sound like here I am talking about like my kid's allowed to do all this, but she is not allowed to bring home a C. This is where I draw the line. Okay.
All right. So what's next? We don't know if there's a season 2 yet.
I really
I think
there
it'll
will
be. I think it will be renewed. I don't really, unless some weird thing happens with a writer's strike going
Oh,
on or
geez.
something
Oh,
like that.
crap, I forgot about that.
That's the only thing that I think could
But
mess
luckily,
it up. But
within this franchise, we've already seen that this came from something else. So even if
Yeah.
the writer's strike delays this in some way, I think there is still plenty of potential with this story to continue on with the Covey family.
I
so
hope
that
so.
would
I
also
want
make me
more.
happy.
And they did have high numbers. A lot of people tuned in to watch this, and a lot of
Mhm.
people really did like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I was thinking, I wasn't thinking of the writer's strike. With if it was a normal season, we would hear probably midsummer whether or not this will be renewed. But now with the writer's strike, I
May
don't
not.
know that we could say that.
so we've discussed Exo Kitty. We have discussed Wednesday. Now we're going to jump into Never Have I Ever.
Brand
And-
spanking new.
Pretty much, we're going to be really talking about this season 4, I think, but we will obviously mention the past seasons as well, as they all tie into each other. This is our last season. There will be no more Never Have I Ever. That, I mean, they've said there's not going to be any more.
You know. Yeah.
But never means never.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Hopefully, because Never Have I Ever is, out of the 3 we've talked about today, is my favorite.
Same.
I love, we get so much of the Indian culture in this,
Mhm.
but I love Davy. I think some of the decisions she makes sometimes I don't agree with.
Look,
I think she's very what's it where I'm thinking,
I
like,
mean,
fast paced. Like, she does things before she really thinks about it, the
Yeah.
consequences.
she is one of my favorite TV characters ever.
I
She
love
is-
her.
She is always real. She makes tons of mistakes every single season. She does really dumb stuff, but like it's not.
It's real though. I mean, how
She is real.
teenagers make really bad
Yes.
mistakes sometimes,
Yes.
and not like life altering like things. She just makes stupid mistakes.
And I love how mean and spunky she is. They even joke about how mean she is all the time because she is like she's totally like she gets so riled up and
She's
upset
just
about
real.
stuff. Like I love it.
Uh-huh.
I love it so much.
Now I've clearly never seen the show, but I was doing a little research on it. Mindy Kaling
Yeah,
was this show, and she
Marie,
wrote a
yes.
lot about things that she experienced in her teen life.
yeah.
Yes.
So that was kind of neat.
I-
And this is one reason why I think that season 4 will be the last, because Mindy Kaling has no problem walking away from things.
Yeah.
When it's run its course for her, she's like, all right, I'm done.
Well,
and I think they ended it well.
They did. Everything is tied up in a nice neat bow, in my opinion. Like it is like there is not one character that I am unhappy. Now Amanda may feel differently because we sit on different sides of this love triangle.
Oh.
But
I haven't
think,
really talked to you since I finished.
I know. I wanted to find out what your thoughts were.
So I have always been Team Paxton.
Okay. Yeah.
Always been Team Paxton. I never disliked Ben.
Right.
I never disliked him. I always liked him. We had a new love interest that they threw at us this season.
Ethan. That one was rough for a
moment. I
moment.
loved Ethan, which I was like, yes, Ethan. And then when I found out like
what he did, yeah.
Whenever, and I kept letting things go that I probably shouldn't have let go as a mature adult.
As we do. Yeah. As we do.
I was just like blind eye to everything bad he was doing. But
yeah,
when he stole that wallet, I was like, okay. And I loved how she put it. You're not a bad boy. You're a bad person.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between having a bad boy and just being a bad person.
Yeah.
So as much as Davy screws up, I think that she was very smart on her decision of leaving Ethan behind, even though he was yummy delicious and
so yummy delicious. And I looked him up. He's 24.
He's 24. So I know.
I'm
I did too.
To say this. I wasn't sure about the situation, so I had to check. If I'm being
honest. Always look it up before I have any thoughts. I'm like, are you an adult?
Because sometimes you can't tell. Okay. And I'm 40.
I have to
so I have to
make sure you're of age before I'm like, ooh, he's hot. I'm like, wait, how old is he?
Like you've got to be at least like you got to be able to buy alcohol for me to say these things, because otherwise I still feel like creepy and gross. So
if you're under 21, I'm gonna be like, he's a handsome young man.
Exactly. And
like that's
JJ,
all we're gonna say about it.
At first that's what I had to say about JJ, and now I think he's over that, so I'm okay. But no, like Ethan, my poor daughter. No, I've been talking about daughter because my daughter's watched all these. Now this one is probably a parenting fail for letting her watch this show because it's very inappropriate, but it's probably nothing worse than she hears with her friends. I mean, if we're being honest. So
I don't think it's wildly inappropriate. I really don't.
I mean, it might be for a 10-year-old when I first let her watch it, but that's okay. It was one of those things.
It's real life things, not just like
she loves it. I mean, she's rewatched it several times, but even she was like, Ethan, I'm like, oh God, you got your mother's taste in men. This is not good. This is not good, because he's bad news, but he's very good.
I kept thinking he was like,
I was hoping
he meant well, always like, but no, like first defacing her car, he
didn't know it was her car. He thought it was her teacher's car.
I don't think that makes it better.
Well, the teacher was mean to him.
It is what it is. Okay. He came over, he fixed it once he found out it was Davies.
He did. And it's like, that's when I was like, okay, well, he's not too bad of a guy.
Yeah.
And then they kept flip-flopping me, and I was trying so hard to be like, Team Ethan, like, it's okay. He's a bad boy.
We love a bad boy.
Yeah. We don't love bad people.
No. Well, I do sometimes because I love Rafe, but that's okay.
Hey, it's not his fault that he's bad.
I mean, sometimes I do like a bad person. I will admit that, if they're pretty enough.
But not in real life. You wouldn't actually want to date a bad person. It's all fantasy.
No, absolutely not in real life. Although I have done that too.
Well, we all.
But like, I feel okay. So like you explained your Paxton versus Ben. I feel the same except for opposite. So like I've always been Team Ben since season 1. But I've also always been like, Paxton's a good guy, and if it turns out that way, I won't cry about it.
Yeah.
Like on some shows I would actually cry about this kind of stuff. But like I wouldn't. But it was just something about one that when we found out how old Paxton is in real life, for some reason his real name Darren was leaving me for a minute.
Yeah, Darren Barnett.
Like he's 12 years older than her in real life. Like Maureen, it's like a Luke Perry situation. Okay, to put it into perspective.
He played Jack Pearson, the younger Jack Pearson in This Is Us. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Like, yeah.
The
Paxton did?
young. Yeah, the
Yeah,
young
like when he's
version.
young. Yeah.
He did.
He like, so yeah, he's like 30 something playing like a 19-year-old. So it's a Luke Perry type situation. So
yeah.
when I found out how much older he was than Maytree, I was like, okay, well, like now it feels weird for me. Like I couldn't get past it, you know? Plus there's just something about like Ben that I feel like it's always been Ben. The moment that I noticed it this season is when she got deferred for, you know, and
Yep.
he was like, oh, it's not that everybody's telling her. She's like, I know it's not a big deal. He's like, no, that's worse. He's like, that's for like, what do you say? Waitlisting is for Gen Pop. Like it was like, it was the first person that like fully understand her perspective of how she was feeling on
deferred.
that. So
yeah.
I think it's just, I think it was always him. So I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Who did so she ended up with Paxton?
No, she ended up with Ben.
Oh, okay.
I completely went to Team Ben very early on in the season, which I didn't expect me to do because I have been continuously Team Paxton. But whenever he quit college and he took the job teaching, I immediately went to Team Ben and I was off Team Paxton for the mere fact of I know that Davy would never never say never. I didn't want the idea of her dating a teacher, putting it that way, even though he wasn't a teacher. I mean, he
was a faculty member at that point.
He was a faculty member at the school. And I did not like the idea of her sneaking around and dating a faculty member of the school. That was a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
Even though it's Paxton and they are exes and they dated for years. I mean, they dated, not for years, but they dated. And we have all this history with him. But as soon as he went to be a faculty member, it really deferred me off. And I actually love who he ended up with. Miss Thompson.
Miss Thompson. Yeah.
What is the age difference in the show?
It's only like
a year.
He's like a year ahead of her in school. So it's
when she was a junior, he was a senior.
So in season 4, are they just finishing high school or are they finishing college?
He's already graduated. Paxton graduated last year, but
from high school or
college.
College.
Oh, I'm sorry, high school. But he quit college, came back in his freshman year. So he
went to college for 2 weeks and quit because nobody liked him.
How could he be a teacher after just 2 weeks of college?
He came back as a swim coach, like assistant swim coach.
He was a faculty member, not a teacher.
Oh, now I get. So she was a senior in high school. Well, he came back. Okay.
Yeah. So it got complicated, even though he was literally just there the year before, but
still he was there a few months before.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Months before. Right. Yeah, so I think it just did, but I do like that we had our one moment of them, making out in that.
I do too,
because like she said, it did feel like closure for them, and I think it probably felt like closure, or at least I think that was the intention. I don't know if all Team Paxton feels this way, but I think it was supposed to be closure for them as well, like to just kind of give them that last little because this season, in my opinion, it was Big Brother Little Sister vibes the whole time.
It was.
And it didn't feel right anymore.
I think it was probably episode 1 or 2 that I didn't want her with Paxton anymore.
Yeah.
Whenever they had the closet scene, I kind of expected that
chemistry.
To be our closure. There is chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Paxton. He's still hot. Like
when he took his shirt off there to with Eric doing the swim lesson.
Who are you doing that for?
And Eric said, "Who was that for?" And it's like, it was for us. It was for all of us.
I saw takes his shirt off and looks to the side. There's nobody else there.
I saw an interview and they were asking Paxton because he's got that one-handed thing that he does or whatever.
Is that the door frame thing?
Yeah. Well,
he takes the shirt off with one hand on one side.
Or he does it really quick. Oh, he can't do it one hand because that's what he was saying. They wanted him to do it one hand, but he kept getting choked up. So he developed his own way of taking it off. It's only Paxton does it like that. And it's super fast the way he whips it off. I don't know. It's just become this big joke thing. Or whatever.
Who is that for?
Eric's like, who is that? It was for us. It's for all of us.
It's all for us.
But no, I think I don't know. It all played out really well because I think, like I said, it was always Ben, with the exception for a moment last season. It was Des, in my opinion, because Des could have switched me.
I liked Des
until he was a mama's boy, and then I couldn't handle it anymore because he was the perfect blend of
He was. I really did like Des when they were a thing. I didn't like how they ended it. It really kind of put me off on Des. I was like, okay, I don't want him anymore.
Yeah. No.
But I feel like that could have really gone a good route in way. But I think it was always supposed to be Ben.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Since the beginning.
Yeah.
Um
Favorite moments. What were your favorite moments this season?
Well, I also want to talk about other characters.
Oh.
Patty got married to Lynn, who is another love story that came out of nowhere, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I love that she kind of found her person, and it would, we know she's going to be taken care of and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of opened up the door for Debbie's mom.
I was gonna say Nalini and her like love interest. I liked that. Maybe
and I love that. And I think that they'll stay together too, because the way they kind of ended it was them kissing at the prom, the dance or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our last time seeing them like that. And I like that everybody kind of like, they made everybody happy in the end. Everybody's with somebody. Kamala.
Yeah.
I love that Kamala and Manish.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be in Boston. They're going to be close to Debbie.
Yeah.
I love the way they ended this, just with all the character tie-ups.
Mm-hmm. It was all good.
Eleanor and Fabiola,
mm-hmm.
like they kind of got their little niches up. I didn't really like them completely, like making Eleanor drop out. Like I didn't like that part. That's one of my complaints.
Yeah, that's probably a complaint too.
I'm trying to do my complaints as I do these characters to kind of get them out of the way. And also the whole drama with Patsy for the grandmother and the realtor, and just
it was
I didn't like that.
I didn't love that.
It put a bad taste in my mouth. During that whole thing where they thought and the Nabian baby in his phone, like that was so much of a reach for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's my complaints, because I did not like any of those. Any of those parts. I love the character of Trent. Yes. I always have.
Same.
Seeing him and Eleanor working together, like on a set, was so amazing to me. Because now they set that up to where we know they're going to be good and okay. Yeah. And they complement each other so well.
Yeah, because I was really upset. Like, I think I was getting more upset about all of that when Trent and Eleanor were broken up. I'm like, they have to get back together, right? Because I'm not even worried with who Davy ends up at this point, as long as Trent and Eleanor get back together. Because I was like, this has to happen.
Yeah, I didn't like when Eleanor was like trying to get with Ethan, and I did not like that whole thing either.
Poor Trent. He was
not because it was bad writing or anything. It was excellent writing, but I personally didn't like it because I wanted Davy with Ethan.
Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah. Agreed.
And also another one of my complaints. I am sorry. I really did love this season.
Okay.
I really did love
have some complaints about something you love. It's possible to do both.
Shoot. Oh no. What did I not like?
Nothing. It was fabulous.
Oh, the Margot. Oh, the basketball player.
I hate her. Dwight Howard. We're complaining about Dwight Howard. Yeah.
There's my complaint. Dwight Howard giving Ben one freaking random as all get out. Like, where did that?
Funny though.
I had to rewind because I thought I missed something.
I love when he was like, "It's okay, middle school's hard." He's like, I'm 17 years old. He's like, "Really?" That and like talking about Ben. Okay, so like that kind of ties in. Some of the one-liners, like Maureen, I hate that you can't watch this show, but like, because like honestly, the comedic parts of this are some of the funniest. Like, it's one of my favorite comedic shows ever. Like,
really,
I mean, it's so funny, right? I mean, like, it's like beyond hilarious. Like, if you could get over the inappropriate content here and there, because they don't show a whole lot. They talk about it.
Like even the sexy scenes, which there's only like a few of them.
They're mild.
They're fully covered.
It's the teenage talk. I mean, they talk probably like real 16 and 17-year-old kids do about things like that. They make it very realistic in that way. And so but it's funny. But like when they were in the principal's office, the principal, which the principal is, she's from 911. I don't remember her. She's Christopher's caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is her name Coco Brown or in real life? I don't know.
What's her name?
I don't know. She's a lady who works
Niecy Nash.
No, that's the
Niecy Nash was
therapist.
the therapist.
Yeah, so Niecy Nash, like, so there's really
Oh
funny.
yeah, Coco Brown.
Niecy Nash is funny. I like her.
Oh,
She's
she's hilarious. She's her therapist.
She's
it's
David
Oh,
perfect.
that would fit.
Oh,
It's
she's
so good.
so
Like,
freaking funny.
I would encourage you, maybe one day when kids aren't home, just try it and just see what you think, because it actually is really funny.
It is
I just
hilarious.
don't know if you can do it or not. Like,
It's a total Mindy Kaling hilarity.
So funny. But when they're arguing, Margot and Davy in there, and she said, "Wait, this is over." And then Nalini said it again too. This is over Ben Gross.
Ben Gross.
Ben Gross.
Ben Gross.
Yes, Ben Gross. I was like, of course. I don't know. I just thought that those are some of my favorite parts. But I do think the ending worked perfectly. I think him coming back, like, it was a total romantic style, like, ending of him, flying all the way back from New York to, like, see her and all that stuff.
Was Ben her age?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ben, it's a very enemies to lovers thing too. Like, they compete with each other, like, always, about being, which she got to be valedictorian, which I loved. So she got to beat him on that one. And I love when he calls her David. It makes me laugh. Her name's Davy. And so he jokes and, like, insults her and calls her David every once in a while. And I
love that he just continued that even when they were together and everything. Well, he just calls her David.
Supposedly that's Jaren's favorite, like, part. That's like his funniest, like, that's like his favorite thing about the show is, like, we're talking about comedic parts, is when Ben calls her David. So maybe he does it on purpose sometimes. I don't know. I didn't really have many complaints. I agree that I didn't like the Lynn storyline too much. My only other complaint is we saw Manish one time in the last little bit of the thing.
I know. I wondered if that was like an actor.
He probably had something going on. Maureen, you would know Manish. He is the guy that is from Pitch Perfect. He's the Indian guy that kind of does the little rap in the Troublemakers.
Oh, okay.
So that's Manish. And so I don't know, he's like he was one of Davy's teachers and then ends up falling in love with her cousin or whatever. But yeah, we saw him together.
I liked him on Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's it. I mean, like, I don't really have many complaints. I
also didn't like that we didn't get to have very much Anissa.
Yeah, true.
Anything this season. I mean, we saw her so briefly, but I feel like she was such a, like, instrumental part last season that it was just like, why didn't we barely mention her this season?
Did they even say, because I know she makes the mention that she's glad she didn't have to do all this college stuff because she got recruited, but did they even say where she was going to college? They didn't.
No, and that kind of disappointed me, because why make such a big thing about her last season and then give us, like, nothing this season?
Yeah.
I would have at least, like, at the end kind of, like, seen where she was going or doing or something, because I really liked her character.
Or if she had said, I'm glad I was recruited by, like, you could have just named like what college you were going to, just so we know what's going on with you.
Yeah, because I really liked her character.
Especially if it's the end of a show, you want to know. I mean, yeah, you can make up your own story in your head, but you want to know where they ended up. You want to know from the people who created them, they're real in their head where they went.
Yeah, because everybody else, most people other than Davy's mom and then Trent and Eleanor, and I guess Paxton too, like, a lot of them ended up on the East Coast now, so that's kind of interesting.
I wonder where John McEnroe ended up at.
What's I'm saying?
In a prison cell somewhere.
He's the voice of Davy.
He's the voice of Davy.
He's the narrator for
really?
Davy's story. So John McEnroe narrates, because her and her dad used to watch, like, tennis back when they were young. Her dad dies when she's like, it's this whole thing.
Not
so
funny, but
that's how the show starts, kind of.
So John McEnroe, like, narrates.
He's the voice of this teenage girl.
Unless if it's a Paxton episode, which there's a few, then it's Gigi Hadid that narrates his, and then Sandberg. What's his first name? Andy Samberg is the voice of Ben. I love him. Episodes, which we didn't get a bid. That's my other complaint. There was a Paxton episode this season, but no Ben episode, so we didn't get to hear Andy Samberg.
I know, that's
Andy Samberg.
Maureen, I swear, one day when you're just feeling whatever, just give it. It's a 30-minute episodes. Just try 2 episodes, and then if you absolutely can't stand it, cool.
I'm uncomfortable with just the things you said the teens were talking about. I don't know that I can do it. Well, what's your overall grade you'd give the show?
A+.
Obviously, I give it an I because I can't
I
participate.
give it A+.
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 Really?
Absolutely.
The highest rankings you could go. This is your favorite of the three we've talked about today.
Absolutely.
This is one of my favorite shows on Netflix.
Same.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love it. I love everything.
I could watch this show.
I have complaints, of course, but I can make up complaints
Well,
about anything I watch.
That's our job, though. We have complaints about everything.
But I
Look,
love
if I'm
this show.
talking comedic, like things that make me laugh, okay, I'm like shows that I could watch over and over again that would make me laugh over and over again. I mean, up there with like New Girl, Schitt's Creek, like How I Met Your Mother, the shows that I could watch continuously and I would laugh every single time this is in there.
Okay.
It is beyond funny. Like, I don't know, A+.
All right. Well, I'm kind of impressed with that. That's
And
high
I
marks.
I am hopeful, okay, only because I did see an interview. I got to throw this in real quick. I saw an interview where someone was asking Jared, which is who plays Ben,
Okay.
about John McEnroe's line at the end where he says, "And that's it from Sherman Oaks for now."
For now.
And we were all confused because we're like, no, this is the last season. Jared said that as far as he knows, this is the last season. No one's doing any more. He said, but maybe Mindy and like the writers and everything have it in their head that maybe a few years down the line they might do a movie or some sort of follow-up.
That's a pretty popular thing.
And he said he's down. He said if they call anytime, I'm down to do more.
Good. I think she would too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think because like it's different ending a show versus going into a movie, because a show takes up your entire life for years at a time, but a movie doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
So I can see her doing that if she gave up the show.
So I hope they encourage even a movie or even just a spinoff, like with the same, I don't know, at some point I would love it if they would do something else like this. It'd be weird to not have John McEnroe's voice narrating it though, but
he said for now.
I know.
I'm pretty sure John McEnroe is hard up for cash now, so I'm
he's probably hoping, right? He's like, let's do more.
Please call me. Well, there you have it. We got our three though. This is going to be the structure for all of our Wednesday Netflix episodes. We're just going to review. We're going to recap a little bit, just talking about the synopsis, characters, favorites, complaints, that sort of thing. But our goal is to give you a comprehensive review of each show and give you a grade. I think all these shows today got high marks. I think of the three, I think I would rank it in the order we talked about it. Wednesday, Exo Kitty, and obviously I can't never have ever have to go bottom for me because I've never seen it.
I would go the opposite direction.
Same
Wednesday
for me.
least favorite?
Yeah.
Wow.
Same
I'm
thing.
the minority today.
I just like
they all get high marks. It's just because it's the least favorite. It's just the least favorite of these three, but of three that we love.
Yeah.
So that's still high mark. So what you can do in the meantime, while you wait for our next Netflix episode to drop, you can watch for Friday. Our Cruel Summer recaps are coming out to you every Friday for the entire summer, pretty much. And Netflix will be coming out every summer. Nope, every Wednesday for the summer. Let me get you.
She's locking us down forever. Every summer. We're gonna do this.
From now until eternity.
Yep.
You're all screwed. All right, so next Wednesday, we will be talking rom-coms. And you will get me, Eve, and Amanda for that. So that's kind of exciting.
Jeanette hates us.
I won't be here, okay? We're celebrating, like, I'm taking my kids, getting rid of them for a couple days.
Woohoo!
Won't be here.
Well, the week after that, I won't be there. So next week, next Wednesday, we are coming at you with rom-coms for our review, our recap. Check out our Netflix group, which is Netflix Family Fan Club. And we will see you in just a couple days. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, because the more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more credible our podcast becomes, and the more interviews we can get you. We are trying to get you interviews from cast and crew from these Netflix shows that we're talking about, from the Cruel Summer show, from all of our regular shows, especially with this writer's strike. We want to make sure we're giving you the content so you don't feel like you're missing the shows so much. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure that you're giving us a rating if you're able to do that on the podcast platforms, and give us some feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, what you want us to do. Maybe you have some ideas. We'd love to hear them. So until next week, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website. Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.